Welcome back, everyone, to episode 9 of the Bryk Breakdown. How's everyone doing today? Today we're going to do the NFC East and seed up the NFC. Let's get right into the news. DeAndre Hopkins just visited the Titans. They are a wide receiver needy team. So yeah, I can understand why the Titans would want a veteran like DeAndre Hopkins. He's one of the best out there. Can't go wrong with DeAndre Hopkins. I know he's obviously getting up there in age, but doesn't mean that he's not going to perform less than he has in his career. The Cowboys released Tack McKinley. So yeah, that's what's going on. The Hard Knocks teams that could be forced are the Jets, Saints, Commanders, and Bears. I don't have the quote on my screen here, but I read somewhere that Robert Saleh does not want to be on Hard Knocks. I can understand that from a coach's perspective because you're trying to, build a team to win, and you got all these cameras on you, and I can see how that can be an extra stressor during camp and practice and all that. So I get that. All right, let's get right into the NFC East. This is the last division we have to do. There's one team here that I don't know about. At the same time, I think going into this, I thought, okay, this is how this division's going to break down, and I was right. After doing all the wins and losses, so let's get right into it. The first team I have is Washington Commanders. I don't have them winning one game this year. That could be a hot take. It could be completely. Hey, they can win a game or two, maybe 3. I don't know. I'm not a believer in Sam Howell. They have a tougher schedule. They play the Cardinals, Broncos, Bills, Eagles, Bears, Falcons, Giants, Eagles, Patriots, Seahawks, Giants, Cowboys, Dolphins bye, Rams, Jets, Niners, Dallas. I don't know. If Jacoby Brissett plays a couple games, they're going to win some games for sure. I just don't. I'm not a believer in Sam Howell. No, he's a no for me. Don't think he's going to succeed at that position. That's just how I feel about it. But yeah, hey, if you're into betting, I saw that the Commanders to go 0-17 is like plus 15,000 right now. So if you want to put a couple bucks on that, why not? Why not try it? I might do that because I don't know about this team right now. They're not that great, and yeah. Let's look at who they've added and lost. They clearly drafted Emmanuel Forbes in the first round instead of Christian Gonzalez, which I thought was weird. I would have taken Gonzalez. All right, they lost Bobby McCain to the Giants, Wes Schweitzer to the Jets, Cam Sims to the Raiders, Taylor Heineke to the Falcons, Wes Martin to the Browns, and Cole Holcomb to the Steelers. They have got Jacoby Brissett from the Browns, Nick Gates from the Giants, Andrew Wiley from the Chiefs, Trenton Scott from the Steelers, Cody Barton from the Seahawks, and Abdullah Anderson from the Falcons. So they really haven't made a big splash in free agency other than Andrew Wiley, of course. Yeah. If we want to talk about their fantasy, these are the 4 guys that came up with. Antonio Gibson, yeah, I'm sure they have listed Brian Robinson as their number 1 running back, but I understand that. Brian Robinson showed up even after the horrible incident he went through last year and being able to come back and playing football. It's amazing. and he did very well. So props to him. I like Brian Robinson, so I can see myself, minimally drafting him in fantasy. Antonio Gibson too. People are really hype on him. I've been out on him because I just don't think he's made the production just enough fantasy points for me. I think there's just better out there. Terry McLaurin, lots of. I feel like it's either you're all in on Terry McLaurin, or you're all out, and I feel like I'm just all out because I just can't trust this Sam Howell situation. I just have a feeling they're going to force Howell to play, unless they're just sick of losing and they put Brissett in. If Jacoby Brissett's in, I think him and Terry McLaurin can be able to make some nice plays. Same with Jahan Dotson. People are really hype on Jahan Dotson this year. I'm in on Jahan Dotson. I think he's going to show up. But with Sam Howell, I just don't know. I'm not a big fan. Haven't seen enough. Hey, he could surprise me. He can shock me. I don't know, but I'm not in on Sam Howell, making me very hesitant on these Washington football players. All right. Next, we have the New York Giants. I have the Giants going 11-6 this year. I think they're going to be a lot better of a team. This is their Brian Daboll's second year as their head coach. Let's look at their schedule. Week 1 at home versus Dallas. Sunday Night Football. I have that as a win. I think they're at home. I think they're just going to start off strong with a win. Week 2 at the Cardinals. That's a win. Week 3 at the 49ers. Thursday Night Football. That's a win. Back-to-back prime time. Wow. So 3 out of their 4 first games are prime time. Dallas Sunday Night Football Week 1. Week 3 at San Francisco. Thursday Night Football. I have that as a win. Week 4 at home versus the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. I have that as a win. That's tough. So I have them going 4-0 so far. Week 5 at the Dolphins. That's a loss. Week 6 at the Bills. That's a loss. Week 7 at the Commanders. That's a win. Week 8 versus the Jets. That's a loss. Week 9 at the Raiders. That's a win. Week 10 at the Cowboys. That's a loss. Week 12 at the Commanders. That is a win. Week 12 Week 12 versus the Patriots. That's a win. Week 13 is their bye week. Week 14 is they played the Packers at home on Monday Night Football. That's a win. Week 15 at the Saints. That's a win. Week 16 at the Eagles. That's a loss. Week 17 versus the Rams. That's a win. And Week 18 versus the Eagles. That's a loss. They drafted Deonte Banks and Jalen Hyatt in this draft. So those are good guys to get. Let's see who they've gotten and lost. So they lost Nick Gates to the Commanders, John Feliciano to the 49ers, Nicholas Williams to the Chargers, Richie James to the Chiefs, Henry Monadou to the Jags, Julian Love to the Seahawks. Let's see who they've got. They got Darren Waller from the Raiders, Ashawn Robinson from the Rams, Bobby McCain from the Commanders, Raheem Nunez-Roches from the Buccaneers, James Crowder from the Bills, Paris Campbell from the Colts, Bobby Okereke, I don't know if I'm saying that right, from the Colts, Jeff Smith from the Jets, J.C. Hausner from the Steelers, and Amani Ojawari. I can't say his last name. Oruwari from the Lions. And they also got Tommy Sweeney from the Bills. So they did, I feel like, a little bit more than the Commanders did in their offseason, which I think year 2 as a coach, I think it's just such an important year. That's why I just think they're going to succeed in this league. So, all right. For fantasy, they have Daniel Jones. I'm out on Daniel Jones. I just don't think he's that great of a quarterback, to be honest with you. He went to Duke. To those that don't know that, I think that explains a lot. Yeah. If you like Daniel Jones, go for him. I'm not. Listen, he's not that bad. He has made some plays. For sure, absolutely. he's just not my type of guy. Is what I'm trying to say. He's just not. They just paid him a lot of money. That's fine. He just has to kind of prove it and show that he's worth that kind of money. I just don't think he is, and he might. I have a feeling that he's probably not going to be there that long. Like, I think they made a bad deal with him. I just don't think he's going to be that guy. I guess we'll see. Saquon Barkley, obviously, draft Saquon Barkley in fantasy football. Write that down. Darren Waller. He's a little bit I think he's sneaky this year. I like Darren Waller on the Giants. I think him and Jones can actually make a connection. Yeah, look out for Darren Waller and Jones. I think they can be really good together. Jalen Hyatt, I don't know yet. Have to see what he does. He might be like a waiver wire guy throughout the year if he shows some flashes. So keep an eye on Jalen Hyatt. All right, let's go to the Dallas Cowboys. I have the Cowboys going 9-8 this year. Yeah, I feel like Dak Prescott just hasn't been playing great football, in my opinion. I feel like he kind of did not progress last year. I think he kind of just stayed the same. If not, he did not look the best. Let's look at their schedule. Week 1 at the Giants, Sunday Night Football, that's a loss. Week 2 versus the Jets, that's a loss. Week 3 at the Cardinals, that's a win. Week 4 versus the Patriots, that's a win. Week 5 at the 49ers, Sunday Night Football, that's a win. Week 6 at the Chargers, that is a loss. That's Monday Night Football. Week 7 is their bye week. Week 8 versus the Rams, that's a win. Week 9 at the Eagles, that's a loss. Week 10 versus the Giants, that's a win. Week 11 at the Carolina Panthers, that's a win. Week 12 versus the Commanders, that's a win. Week 13 versus the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football, that's a loss. Week 14 at home versus the Eagles, Sunday Night Football, that's a win. Week 15 at the Bills, that's a loss. Week 16 at the Dolphins, that's a loss. Week 17 versus the Lions, Monday Night Football, that's a loss. And Week 18 at Washington, that's a win. They drafted Mozzie Smith and Luke Schoonmaker in the draft. Let's see who they've lost and gotten over this offseason. They lost Dalton Schultz, which is a big one, to the Texans. Noah Brown, don't sleep on Noah Brown. He was pretty good with the Cowboys. He went to the Texans. Jake McQuaid went to the Lions. Luke Gifford went to the Titans. Carlos Watkins went to the Cardinals. Dakota Shepley went to the Colts. Connor McGovern went to the Bills. Let's see who they've gotten. They got Brandon Cooks. Stephon Gilmore. Oh, yeah, they got Stephon Gilmore from the Colts. Ronald Jones from the Chiefs. Ben Benagoo from the Colts. Trent Sieg from the Raiders. And Chuma Edoga from the Falcons. They obviously cut Ezekiel Elliott, which who knows if they, re-sign him. I guess we'll find out. But right now, Tony Pollard is their guy. Like I said, I think they do. I just think they have a tougher schedule, and I just don't think they just lost Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator, who I think was great. I think he went to the Chargers. I think this is going to be a little bit of an off year for the Cowboys. That's just how I feel. And I know I'm an Eagles fan and I know I'm biased, but I don't think this is going to be the best year for Dallas. That's just how I feel. They have a tough. I think they have a tougher schedule. I think this whole. I will be serious. I think this whole division has a tough schedule, and the Giants are gonna. I think the Giants are gonna be pretty solid. All right, it's that time. My Philadelphia Eagles. I know I'm biased. I don't care. This is my podcast. I have my Philadelphia Eagles going 14-3. I think the worst they can do is win 12 games, but I'm shooting for the stars. All right, let's get through the schedule. Week 1 at the Patriots, that's a win. Week 2 versus the Minnesota Vikings, Thursday Night Football, that's a win. Back-to-back prime time. Week 3 at the Bucks, Monday Night Football, that's a win. Week 4 versus the Commanders, that's a win. Week 5 at the Rams, that's a win. Week 6 at the Jets, that's a win. Week 7, Sunday Night Football versus the Miami Dolphins at home, that's a win. Week 8 at the Commanders, that's a win. Week 9 versus Dallas, that's a win. So I'm having them go 9-0. Okay, we have our bye week, week 10, week 11. We play the Chiefs in Kansas City on Monday Night Football. I have that as a loss. Week 12 versus the Bills at home, I have that as a loss. Week 13 versus the 49ers at home, I have that as a win. Week 4, did I say that right? No, week 13 is the 49ers. I have that as a win. Week 14 is at Dallas on Sunday Night Football. I have that as a loss. Week 15 at the Seahawks, I have that as a win. Week 16 versus the Giants at home, I have that as a win. Week 17 versus the Cardinals, that's a win. And week 18 at the Giants, that's a win. We could totally split with the Giants. It's totally possible. We'll not be upset if we split with the Giants. There's just some teams that I just think we easily beat, like the Rams. I think we sweep the Commanders, the Patriots, yeah, the Vikings, yep. Can I see myself? Can we lose to the Niners for sure? Can we lose to the Seahawks? Yeah, but I just think our defense grew over this past offseason. I know we lost Hargrave to the 49ers, but we got Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith in that first round. This Georgia Bulldog defense is going to be lights out. Let's go to the additions and losses of the Philadelphia Eagles. So we lost Devon Hargrave to the 49ers, Isaac Sumalo to the Steelers, Andre Dillard to the Titans, Kaiser White to the Cardinals, TJ Edwards to the Bears, Zach Pascal to the Cardinals, Miles Sanders to the Panthers, CJ Gardner-Johnson to the Lions, Gardner Minshew to the Colts, and Marcus Epps to the Raiders. The Eagles have gotten Marcus Mariota from the Falcons, Rashad Penny from the Seahawks, Dan Arnold, wow, don't sleep on Dan Arnold, from the Jags, Nicholas Morrow from the Bears, Terrell Edmonds from the Steelers, Alamide Zacchaeus, I hope I'm saying that right, from the Falcons, DeAndre Swift, we traded for him in day 3, from the Lions, Greedy Williams from the Browns, Kentavious Street from the Saints, Justin Evans from the Saints, and we've kept some of our own guys like Lane Johnson, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Jason Kelsey's coming back, Fletcher Cox is coming back. So this Eagles team is set up to do some damage yet again in this 2023 season. Let's look at their fantasy value. Obviously, you have Jalen Hurts. He's going to ball out yet again, in my opinion. He's one of the best in this league. Draft Jalen Hurts, please. He's going to score you fantasy points. You have A.J. Brown, obviously, Devonta Smith. Both of those guys are going to put up points. My guess is that, I don't know, Devonta Smith might get some more looks this year. I just have a feeling Smith might have a better year. But I guess we'll see. Dallas Goedert. Don't get wrong with Dallas Goedert. I know he got hurt a little bit last year, but that man is just a force to be reckoned with. Like, after I went to training camp last year, I was invited because I'm a season ticket holder, and watching him on the sideline just catching balls one-handed, it's unbelievable. He's very talented. Don't forget about Dallas Goedert. He's very good, and I think he will get more targets than he did last year. Obviously, DeAndre Swift. I think people are a little afraid of DeAndre Swift because of the injury situation. We also have Rashad Penny, Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell. So I can understand the hesitancy with the backfield that we have, but I think that DeAndre Swift will be the guy. I think he'll have the most carries in this offense. Him having this debatably the best offensive line in the league is going to help him. I don't think he will. I don't listen. When you have the best offensive line, you don't get hurt really. I know Miles Sanders had the same situation where he was getting hurt every year, and that's why he left kind of. But last year he didn't get hurt, and he had like his best year on the Eagles. I think Swift will have a great year. That's just how I feel about it. I'm really confident in DeAndre Swift. if he gets hurt, then I think the league kind of figured it out that DeAndre Swift is kind of made of glass. But I hope the best for him. I think he's gonna do great. All right, yeah. So with the over under regular season wins per Caesars Sportsbook, the Commanders are over under 6.5 wins. I have the under because I at most I see them winning maybe 3 or 4 games, like maybe. If Brissett plays, yeah, give it to him. But 6.5, nope, under. The Giants are 8.5. I have the over with what 11 wins. The Cowboys 9.5 wins. I have the under with 9 wins. The Eagles the Eagles are 11.5 wins. I think worst case scenario they win 12 games. I know I'm being biased with the 14-3. That's just me. I know I'm crazy doing that. Am I though? They just went crazy last year. So, but I think they can win 12 games. So I'm taking the over there. All right. Let's do the seeding of the NFC. Instead of a top 10, let's just today we're going to seed the NFC with everything that I've done. There was one correction I made. There was one game that I mistakenly didn't choose a winner for, and it was the 49ers versus the Vikings. I had them both lose, and I was like, nope. So, after looking back on it, I have the 49ers winning that game, so they're a win over what I previously said. And I think that makes the Vikings 13-4. I don't even know if that's right. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think that's right. 13-4. All right, so let's do this. Seeding the NFC. The 7th seed I have the San Francisco 49ers. I think their defense is really good. I know they just lost D'Amico Ryans as defensive coordinator, so I don't know if that will have a negative effect because D'Amico Ryans is obviously now the head coach of the Houston Texans. But when you lose, a defensive coordinator like that, that's very good and defensive minded. I don't know if it's going to be able to translate properly on the field or not. I guess we'll have to see. Regardless, I still think this 49ers defense is really good. I've said it before on the on that division's podcast that I'm just not a believer in Brock Purdy. I have them winning 10 games, I think. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I have them just making the playoffs with the 7th seed. So the 6th seed, I have the New York Giants. Yeah, they have. I think that Brian Dable is going to make the playoffs, and I know they lost to the Eagles in the divisional. Yep, last year they did beat the Vikings in the wild card, but yeah, I think the Giants get the 6th seed. They will be good. Don't sleep on the Giants this year. Week 5, I have week 5. The 5th seed, I have the Detroit Lions. I don't know what I have them going this year. Let's see. Oh, I have them going 12-5. Yeah, I like the Lions. I like the coach. I think Goff is going to be. He's underrated right now. I think he's going to be good. Lions going, and I think they win the game. I think they win in the wild card game. All right, week 4. I keep doing that. 4th seed, I have the New Orleans Saints. They win their division. That division's a mess, in my opinion. It's like one of the worst divisions. But I think Derek Carr is good enough to go to the playoffs. So yeah, I have them as the 4th seed. I have them going 9-8. So yeah. For the 3rd seed, I have the Seahawks. I have them going 11-6. They win their division. Listen, I think Geno Smith is going to repeat what he did last year. I just am a believer. I think he's just learned a lot over his career. I think he's ready. I think they helped him just a little bit with that offensive line. They gave him JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. It's just going to be fun to watch. I'm excited to watch Dino Smith and the Seahawks this year. I am. The second seed, I have the Minnesota Vikings. They win their division. They go 13-4. They're going to be a good team. Let's be real. Cousins and Jefferson, they're going to do what they do. And now they just got Jordan Addison, which is going to be fun to watch. I like their coach. They just got Vance Joseph as their defensive coordinator, right? Is that his name? No. Not Vance Joseph. Who am I thinking of? Vance Joseph. Wait, hold on. That's not the right guy's name. I'm thinking of someone else. The guy that was Flores. Brian Flores? Is that right? Yeah, Brian Flores. I don't know why I said Vance Joseph. That's funny. Brian Flores, they're going to be good. And obviously, I have my Eagles as the number 1 seed in the NFC. Next time, we'll talk about the playoffs instead of the top 10 list, and we'll go and dive into that and the scenarios of the Super Bowl. I'm going to finish it with the quote of the day. Quote of the day is: a true friend never gets in the way unless you happen to be going down. Arnold H. Glasgow. That's it for today's podcast. Have a great one.